Okay, the answers are as follows. The assignment is due in at 12 noon on the 19th of May, and the word count is 2,000 words. The term creationist refers to people who believe that life on Earth arose by the actions of a creator, a god, rather than having evolved in some way. However, there are kind of variations on that theme. There were, as you read in the history of evolutionary thought, some people who kind of merged the ideas and perhaps believed that God created the conditions for evolutionary processes to take place. But fundamentally, creationist means that life on Earth was created by someone. I say someone, something. Lamarck was not right in his proposed mechanism for evolution because he had this idea of use and disuse, which is where, as an organism throughout its life, used a particular trait, it would develop. That he gave, the example of the giraffe's neck. It would get longer the more that the giraffe was straining, and then that would be passed on to the giraffe's offspring. The incremental increase in neck size that goes on generation after generation of, giraffes straining their necks. He was not right because we know that what determines a phenotype, like the length of the giraffe's neck, is the genetic, the genes, the alleles that the giraffe has, and we know that the genes need to change, the DNA needs to change in order to influence the phenotype. It can't go the other way round. It can't go backwards. The information flow doesn't work like that. Alfred Russel Wallace was important. He was a correspondent of Darwin's. They were, a kind of colleagues, dare I say friends, I don't really know, but Darwin was in correspondence with an awful lot of different people, different naturalists, different scientists, different thinkers, different philosophers. Wallace was out in the field essentially gathering his information. He was a naturalist that spent his time abroad, gathering samples, gathering data, and he also, about 10 years after Darwin developed his theories, came up with a very similar theory for the process of evolution by natural selection. And in the end, when he shared his theory with Darwin, it prompted Darwin to finally share the fact that he'd come up with that theory as well. So the both of them presented their ideas to the Linnaean Society. Finally, Darwin's 4 observations were that, if I bring them up for clarity, he was mostly he had some very keen observations on the fact that populations vary greatly. Within any population, there are no 2 individuals that are exactly the same. Traits are inherited from parents to offspring. We know that offspring do resemble their parents. All species are capable of producing more offspring than their environment can support. He was aware of the numbers of seeds that can be produced and the number of in the plant world, the number of spores that fungi can spread out, the number of and even down to animals and and even humans. He was aware of the kind of the slum areas in cities where there were huge numbers of people, and organisms can produce more offspring than their environment could support. And then finally he said that a lack of food or other resources means that not all the offspring survive. So there's an unequal survivability. He inferred from this that those individuals within the population with the variants, the traits that give them a higher probability of surviving will tend to leave more offspring, and the unequal ability of individuals to survive and reproduce will lead to the accumulation of favourable traits in the population over generations. Okay.